Het is vandaag maandagochtend, zeer vroeg. Even kijken het is nu rond een uurtje of 9:30. En om 10:00 hebben wij echt... ik heb een uitnodiging gekregen van Bierliefde. En Bierliefde die stuurde mij een berichtje. Remy, heb jij zin om bij de pre-release te zijn van de nieuwe Bourbon County brand STOUT? En waar? In Amsterdam of all places. Yes, we staan nu op de Dam. Paleis, tenminste bij het Paleis. Check. Ik heb echt ontzettend veel zin in deze pre-release. Weet je, ik kan nog wel meer zeggen, maar laten we er gewoon heen lopen. Het wordt dit jaar trouwens gegeven bij de Bierkoning in Amsterdam. Waar aanstaande vrijdag de officiële release is van de nieuwe Bourbon Counties. En ja, wat ik zeg, het is nu maandag. Dus ik mag er al bij zijn. Ik heb er echt super veel zin in. Weet je, ik heb er eigenlijk geen woorden voor. Dit zijn altijd de mooiste dingetjes. En ik voel me ook zeker gezegend. Zoals je op de achtergrond kan zien, lopen we over de Dam. Bierliefde is ook wel beter bekend als Yvonne. Ik ben heel erg benieuwd wat het vandaag ons gaat brengen. Het is overigens stervenskoud. Maar dat maakt niet uit. Dan mag de pret zeker niet drukken. Waar is de Bierkoning? Eens even kijken. Als het goed is. Ik ga even kijken. Het was even zoeken, mensen. Het was even zoeken, maar check. We zijn aangekomen bij de Bierkoning. Als je goed kijkt. Bourbon County. We gaan snel naar binnen. Ik ben benieuwd wat ik allemaal kan en mag filmen. Uiteraard zal je meer zien dan alleen de gevel. Ik ben heel erg benieuwd. En we gaan er gewoon voor. Here we go. We zijn vandaag bij de Bierkoning in Amsterdam. Zoals ik al zei, hebben we een kleine tasting. Nou ja, klein. Bourbon County. De nieuwe Bourbon County Brand Stout 2018. Het is maandagochtend, 10:00. Ik denk dat het wel een mooiste tijd is om je bier te proeven. En dat gaan we dan ook zeker doen zo direct. Dus. Ja, zoals je kan horen ook trouwens. Ik weet niet of je het kan horen, maar licht lekker. Speciaal overgevlogen uit Engeland. We zijn het eerste land in Europa die de nieuwe Bourbon County 2018 gaat proberen. En ja, toch stiekem enorm vereerd. Echt, we gaan gewoon verder.
Maar gelukkig hoef ik vandaag niet te praten. Daar heb ik Josh voor meegenomen. Joshua Smith, dat is ons, voor sommigen is hij nieuw. Ik ga niet heel veel uitleggen over wat hij met het merk heeft. Dat zal hij absoluut zelf doen. Josh, I'm giving it to you.
Thanks, mate. So yeah, I think Raymond just introduced who I was. Hopefully he told you what I did. You haven't said anything. No, anything good or anything bad?
You can do better.
So guys, yeah, I'm not from Chicago. I'm actually from South Wales, but I've been working with Goose for the last 3 years. I actually used to run pubs in London for about 6 years. One of the pubs I used to run was a pub that John Hall, our founder, used to drink in the 80s. The White Horse in Parsons Green. So that was actually the pub that I fell in love with beer in at the same time. But yeah, I ran another pub, met a few of the guys from the brewery. I've always been a fan of Goose. We sold Bourbon County at the White Horse and other beers. Goose has actually been in the UK market since like 2005. So we've sort of had it there for a while, and I know it's been here for a little while. But yeah, so today what we're going to be doing is taking you guys through our 2017 Bourbon County Stout and then we're also going to compare that to our 2018. So you guys will officially be the first people in Europe to taste 2018 Bourbon County. I'm doing the press launch tomorrow in the UK. So actually, yeah, Netherlands, this shop is the first place. So I'll talk a little bit about the history of Goose. I'm sure most of you guys are familiar. I've also brought a surprise beer for you guys as well. We've got the Cooper Project series, number 3. We released this in 2017, so I'll explain what that is. But essentially, yeah, we're going to drink 3 beers for breakfast and you know, have a good time. There's also opportunity for Q&A, and yeah, I think we can get stuck in. So cool. Yeah. Ray, do you want to give us a hand with the pouring? Has anyone actually heard of the Cooper series? Yes. Yeah. So, because of Bourbon County Stout, because of our sort of our experience that we've had with bourbon barrels, like we say at Goose, we're the first brewery to commercially release a bourbon barrel-aged beer. We weren't the first to test around with it, but we were the first to commercially release it. And actually, if you see today where that's gone, most craft breweries that are producing bourbon barrel aged or have a barrel aged program on the whiskey side will make a bourbon barrel aged beer. So because since 1992 we've been experimenting with them, we wanted to bring out a series of beers in 2017 which was playing with different styles of beer. So this is the third in the series. They kind of have a similar pattern. Essentially it's a fresh beer that we brew. 50% of it will be aged in bourbon barrels, and then it'll be blended with a fresh batch of the original. So this is Cooper 3. So Cooper 3 is essentially, it's a lactose porter. There's some oats in the grist as well. No, there we go. There is lactose in this. Yep, sorry, I should have said that at the beginning.
Thank you, sir.
That was start with that. So this is a lactose porter. It was actually inspired by a beer that we released in 2015 called Real Nice Surprise. We released it as part of our Fulton Wood series, which was Chicago release only, based on the old Tom and Jerry cocktail, which has kind of got like eggnog to it. Essentially that beer was a lactose porter aged in rum, cognac and bourbon barrels. And it was such a great beer that we wanted to add it into the Cooper series. So we took inspiration from that beer, but essentially just aged the beer in bourbon barrels itself. So it comes in at around 8.3%. It's a 50% blend. As I say, we add some oats in there as well to sort of give it that nice kind of silky mouthfeel. And this has been aging in the bottle now for a good year. Good morning.
Good morning.
We're using Cara malts, we're using 2-row, some roasted barley in there as well. The hops that we're using are Millennium, but again this beer isn't really about, it's more for the bitterness and the balance rather than any of the aromatics and flavour. In terms of the yeast strains, quite interesting for Bourbon County. We're using our house ale yeast strain. So at Goose Island we use up to about this year, or last year, we used about 40 different yeast strains. So we're known for having our own hop farm and experimenting with hops, but actually we have a pretty good bank of yeast strains because when we produce beers, we want to produce beers of that exact style. You know, we don't want to use the same yeast strain for each. But we do use a house ale yeast strain in things like IPA, Honkers Ale, 312, and some of our seasonals as well. So Bourbon County, we're using that house ale yeast strain, which is a London ale yeast originally. It was the first yeast strain that we used way back in '88. It's the same yeast strain we use today. And Honkers was the first beer we produced. But essentially we're going to tanker it over to the barrel warehouse. We're going to put it into freshly dumped bourbon barrels. We've kind of adjusted, and I'll talk about what we've had to do with Bourbon County to ensure we've got the freshest barrels available, freshly dumped. We're going to put that beer into the barrels. We're going to age it for approximately 12 months. We're kind of blending everything from like 8 months to 15 months to get that kind of flavor. But essentially it's going to spend 12 months in bourbon barrels. We have an untemperature regulated environment at the warehouse, so we're looking for those summer months where the staves will expand, draw beer into the pores of the staves, and then in the winter time to contract and to drive all that flavor in the beer. So the barrels that we're using as well are freshly dumped. Again, they've gone through that charring process, American oak. We don't use for our original any second use barrels. They're always first use. we're looking for around 4 to 5 year old barrels. We find that's kind of the sweet point. If we get any that are super old, we'll make some special reserves or rare variants. But essentially it's between 4 and 5 years. Since 2016, we've partnered heavily with Heaven Hill. So Heaven Hill for 2017, which we're going to try, was 100% aged in Heaven Hill 4 to 5 year old barrels.
It's open.
And then 2018, which I'll talk about as well, actually there's about 25% Buffalo Trace and about 75% Heaven Hill. We are trying to sort of narrow down the amount of whiskey producers, barrel producers that get us the barrels. Mainly because 2015 we had some issues that we think we've attributed to some barrels that are dried out a bit too long. So it gives us more control essentially. Basically what it is, we have this thing now that the barrels need to be, we don't accept barrels that have been emptied anything over 4 weeks. So anything under 4 weeks we will take, and then within 4 weeks they need to be filled is the absolute limits of the system. But we work within that, and generally we're 5.5 hour drive, we're seeing fresh barrels in and then filled. So,
All right.
yeah. And this is the 2018, right?
Yes.
So I start handing these out. 2017. Probably say you might want to have one in each hand. Yeah, just in time. Cool, and that's 2018. Okay.
There's another one?
Yeah, that's your 2017 there. Just make sure we don't mix them up. So as I say before, 2017 is 100% Heaven Hill 4 to 5 year old barrels. So with 2017, we actually we adopted a new bit of equipment into the brewery. So we've got like the technical. It's essentially for the grain. It's smashing the grain together so that it becomes more powdery, so that we can extract it's hammer mill, so we can convert more starches in the brewing process.
Ik sta eventjes achteraf. En waarom? Omdat ik jullie wil laten zien. Ja, dit is briljant. 2017 versie van de Bourbon County Brand Stout, Regular. Ja, voor mij op zich een vrij bekend biertje. Nou ja, bekend. Klinkt ook zo arrogantachtig. Is het uiteraard niet, super speciaal. Uiteraard volle tonen, fruitige tonen. Echt een blubberdikke jet zeg. Dat is zeker. Heerlijk biertje. Check mijn review. Ik heb hem ook al gereviewd. Maar de 2018 versie mensen. 15,2%. What? Echt briljant. Ik moet zeggen dat hij veel voller van smaak is. Nog meer fruitige tonen. Maar ook echt mega dik. Echt heerlijk. Ik ga weer snel luisteren naar de mensen. Iedereen is stil hier achter. Check. We gaan door.
Yeah. That's when the
Do you feel bad?
that's when the first one was here.
Yeah.
So we can't really say, but he was here before everybody else, and that was 6:15. So that was very early this year. We'll see what happens. We're here from at least 6:30. But this year we're opening up at 10, so we're an hour early, but not opening up for the whole public. So this year we're doing a tasting, like a linear tasting we're doing now as well. So for the first 10 in line, we're going to do the same tasting. We'll present them with a small goodie bag we have prepared for you guys as well. And then after the tasting, we're opening for the general public. So we hope to be sold out by 11:30. Compared to last year, this year we have 200 bottles, so we've doubled in our bottle share for the Netherlands, which I'm very happy with.
What's Europe the amount that comes to Europe?
So we're releasing pretty much the same that we're releasing here in 2 other bottle shops in the UK. Well, in London.
Yeah.
So we've got, because basically the UK is pretty much London at the moment. I'm trying to get the guys to do maybe Manchester or Leeds as one of them, because it's like London's, But so we're doing Ghost Whale down in Brixton and Kill the Cat in Shoreditch. So we're doing a southeast and then here. So essentially the allocation is the same for all 3.
All right.
So that's it. I mean, it will be sold online. The online sales are going to go later on though. So we're protecting the bottle shops, which is where we'll always do the first release. plus the first 20 people that walk in get a Bourbon County Stout bag and some special merch and stuff. They'll be in for the first 20. Awesome. Plus then getting hold of some of the vertical tasting stuff. And
I was wondering if there was Black Friday reference, because it's just so black. Like,
it is.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
What's that?
Black Friday reference.
The reference, yeah. So basically what it was is when we produced Bourbon County back in the day in '92, actually one of the things I didn't talk about as well, we entered it into the Great American Beer Festival in 1995, and it got disqualified. we got an honourable mention in the strong ale category, which was a pigeonhole of where they put things, whatever, where they couldn't fit in, but essentially got disqualified because it went into the Imperial Stout category, but the guys are writing down things like vanilla, toasted coconut, all these flavours, and it doesn't quite fit the category. So that was kind of something we were quite proud of, to get kicked out. Although we had a very good write-up for the beer. And then after. But so what we do is we release it on Black Friday every year. Yeah. So since 2006, we've done bottle releases, and we release it on Black Friday just because we wanted to get involved in that kind of holiday. And most people are queuing up in the US for TVs and all that stuff. Yeah. So next to the original brew pub.
If you have a new TV, you have to enjoy it with a good beer.
Mate, it's crazy. So next to the original brew pub is a shop called Binny's. So Binny's is a massive sort of shop that sells one of the best craft beer selections in Chicago. There's 3 shops. They're quite big shops. They also do wine and spirits. So what we do is we release in Binny's, similar to the model that we're doing here, and we have people queuing for like 3 days to get in. One of the things that we're really trying to work on, and I think hopefully next year might be what we can get to, is in the US we do release variants. So we do the original, plus we do a few different variants. And my goal for the last 3 years, first is to get the original, next is to at least maybe get one variant in packaged as well. This year's fantastic because we've managed to get a variant on cake, which we're going to release at the Beer Temple in the evening. What we do in the US, we release it on Black Friday in the bottle shops. We'll release the bottles. Then in the evening there'll be tappings at the brew pub where we'll put on the variants on tap.
Yeah, I thought it was sold out already.
Last year, and that's the trouble with the Netherlands. The beer loving population in Amsterdam is only that big. So the tapping of the Bourbon County Stout went nationwide, and a lot of people thought it's going to be super busy. So a lot of people living all over the country were just scared to get in the train and maybe miss the beer. So that's why we chose this year. That's the comments we got, to pre-sell 150 tickets. So everybody in the Netherlands has the same availability to the beer. And then locally at the door we'll sell another 50 tickets. That's just for the beer. So the pub is open for everybody. We have 200 glasses of each variant. So we're selling 200 tickets, and that's it. So there's still 50 tickets left at the door.
We zijn weer terug. Het is alweer voorbij, mensen. De tasting van de nieuwe Bourbon County Brand Stout 2018. En ze hadden ook nog de 2017 en nog een speciale andere Goose Island Barrel Aged bier. Uiteraard zie je dat terug in de review. Nou, als goed is hebben jullie dat ook net gezien. Echt super, super briljant. Ik kan niet anders zeggen. Het is echt super. Kleine nipjes. Zoals men weet, om 11 uur 's ochtends is het beste om je smaakpapillen te laten werken. Dus het beste moment om je biertje te drinken is toch echt 11 uur 's ochtends. Uiteraard met mate. Het was echt super, super briljant. Echt de Bierkoning. Top geregeld. Fiona de Lange. Top geregeld. Yvonne van Bierliefde ook top geregeld. Super veel leuke mensen gezien vandaag. Ik ga weer terug naar het treintje. En dit op me laten inwerken, want het is echt briljant. Bedankt voor het kijken. Daar ben ik weer. Het was echt een briljante tasting. Ik wil echt iedereen bedanken die ik heb leren kennen, ontmoeten en weet ik veel wat. Dit was echt een unieke ervaring. Zoals je ziet staan we nog op de Dam in Amsterdam. Ja, ik ben een gelukkig mens. Bourbon County Brand Stout 2018. De release is aanstaande vrijdag. Het is vandaag maandag. En ik was eigenlijk een van de team, maar er waren er volgens mij 7 of 8 personen in heel Nederland, in heel Europa, die de Bourbon County Brand Stout 2018 als eerst mocht proeven. En hij is uniek met zijn 15,2% aan alcohol. Echt een uniek biertje, zeker de moeite waard. Ben je van plan om naar de Bierkoning in Amsterdam te gaan? Ga vroeg. Neem de eerste trein, want echt waar. Ze hebben 200 flessen, dus reken maar uit. Ze gaan om 10 uur open. Mogelijk ben ik er wel bij aanwezig. Ik ga er wel voor. Het ligt een beetje aan een bepaalde situatie, maar ik ga er wel voor. Mocht ik jou daar zien, super tof. Uiteraard bedankt voor het kijken en zeer zeker tot de volgende keer. Mazzel!